name's Kelly Cannon, and here are the 5 biggest misconceptions about living in Utah. Number 1, the biggest misconception about Utah is that everybody here belongs to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, formerly known as the Mormons, and that members of the LDS Church are all polygamists. Now, it is true that the majority of people who live in Utah are LDS. Utah was settled and founded by Mormon pioneers in the mid-1800s, and the LDS Church is headquartered in Salt Lake City. However, according to the Pew Research Center, only 55% of adults in Utah say they are LDS. These populations vary greatly from county to county, though. According to the U.S. Religious Census, only 51.4% of Salt Lake County residents say they are LDS, while 82.9% of Utah County residents do the same. Now, as for the polygamy issue, it is true that early Mormon settlers did practice polygamy in the 1800s. I myself am a great-great-granddaughter of Angus Munn Cannon, who had 6 wives. However, the LDS Church banned the practice of plural marriage in 1890, and the members today are not polygamous. Now, there are people in Utah who live here who still actively participate in polygamy. Some of them might belong to a fundamentalist offshoot of the LDS Church, but they are not affiliated with the main church. Number 2, another major misconception is that this state is covered all over in red rocks and huge mountains, and it's like something out of a John Denver song. Now, don't get me wrong, Utah is gorgeous with a wide variety of outdoor features, but the type of outdoors that you're going to enjoy really depend on what area you're in. If you want stunning mountain ranges full of hiking trails and ski resorts, you want to head to northern Utah. That's where you're going to find the Wasatch and Uinta mountain ranges. Now, if you want to see the quintessential red rock that Utah is famous for, you actually have to look in pretty specific places in southern Utah, such as our 5 national parks. Now, the rest of Utah, like all of Utah, is a desert. It is full of sagebrush, juniper trees, and can be considered kind of less than picturesque. Number 3, this misconception is that it's a challenge to find a drink or a cup of coffee in Utah. Now, this stems from the fact that members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints abstain from drinking alcohol, coffee, or tea. However, Utah is full of locally owned bars, breweries, and coffee shops. According to UtahAleTrail.com, there are 57 locally owned breweries in the state. There are also about 200 bar liquor licenses in Salt Lake County alone. And while you can still get your favorite Starbucks, Dunkin', and Dutch Brothers coffee, you can also find hundreds of locally owned coffee shops around the state. My personal favorite is Cafe Ibis in Logan, Utah. Number 4, now this misconception is kind of a bummer, which is that it's very affordable to live in Utah. Unfortunately, that's just not true. For the past few years, Utah has been experiencing a housing crisis. There is a shortage of affordable housing and home prices are extremely high. According to MoneyWise, Utah has the 6th highest average home price at around $545,000, when the average down payment is $73,000. However, according to the U.S. Census, the median household income is just $79,000. Nearly 1 in 5 Utahns are severely cost burdened by housing, meaning that they spend more than half of their income on their rent or their mortgage. According to the National Low Income Housing Coalition, if someone were to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in Salt Lake County, only spending 1/3 of their income on rent, they would need to make roughly $25 an hour. Now, the average Salt Lake City resident makes $18 an hour. And if that same worker makes minimum wage, they would need to work 164 hours a week to afford that same modest 2-bedroom apartment. Finally, number 5, there is a major misconception that there is nothing to do here in Utah. Now, this one was famously perpetuated by former NBA star Charles Barkley during the 2023 NBA All-Star Weekend, which was hosted in Salt Lake City. Barkley told his fellow co-hosts that SLC is a boring city and there's nothing to do here. Now, not to disagree with Charles Barkley, but there is so much to do in Utah. First, we are most well known for our outdoor recreation. We're talking hiking, skiing, boating, camping, biking, rock climbing, ATVing, and dirt biking. Like I mentioned before, Utah has a wide variety of landscapes and they offer so many options. Growing up, my family spent every vacation camping and dirt biking. Now, during the summer, you will find something going on almost every single day. We're talking festivals, fairs, farmers markets, outdoor concerts, rodeos. Some of the bigger festivals, summer festivals, are the Utah Pride Festival at the beginning of June, the Freedom Festival around July 4th, the Days of 47 Festival at the end of July, and the Utah Shakespearean Festival at the end of summer, which goes into the fall. Now, for sporting events, we have the Utah Jazz Basketball and Real Salt Lake Soccer, as well as plenty of college sports, most notably the University of Utah and Brigham Young University, both of which are in the Big 12 Conference. And if that's not enough, we have so many museums, theater productions, live music, and locally owned restaurants. There is so much to do in Utah that if you can't find something you like, that's on you.